The views and opinions expressed on Unlock Your Wealth Radio are those of the host, guests, and callers only and are not necessarily the views of Unlock Your Wealth Radio, Heather Wagenhals, or Success Publishing International.
Worried about retirement? Want to travel the world or just be around to watch your kids grow up but you can't because you're drowning in debt? Now you can! With Heather Wagenhals and the Keys to Riches powered by Unlock Your Wealth Radio. Heather will show you how to stop chasing your wallet, eliminate debt, lose financial stress, and live the life of your dreams. If you truly ever wanted to have more, do more, be and give back more, now's your chance. Listen weekly to hear what others are doing to manage their money better with these proven strategies for building wealth with the Keys to Riches financial philosophy. Now, here's your host, Heather Wagenhals.
There we go.
Yes! The Keys to Riches, powered by Unlock Your Wealth Radio, is sponsored in part by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at heathersfreeaudiobook.com and click on the link to over 150 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. You should actually go there and get Yes You Can 2.0 for free today. Welcome, everyone. We are so glad you stopped by. I am Heather Wagenhals, flanked by my producer extraordinaire and the maestro of Moolah, Michael Terry.
Hey, folks.
And we will help you get your money mind right on today's show with the following great features in addition to our Keys to Riches financial philosophy. So first off...
What's the key?
Yeah.
And I provide the key from now on, so... the key is forget the perfection principle.
Yay! Applause. Yeah. Where's our studio applause button? Blah, clap, 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 clap.
Well, I could do that. This is one of my favorites, too, because it's important that we don't get too bogged down with perfection.
Right. Perfection, is, it's the antithesis of success. Because it's not about perfection. And in Good to Great, one of the things that they said is that great is the enemy of good.
Yeah.
And so we can extrapolate that to, perfection is the enemy of progress.
Yeah.
And because finance and personal finance is not a race, it's a journey.
Yeah. Don't shoot yourself in the foot.
And that leads right into what our moneyism is about, self-sabotage.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about our money drama and how we can overcome all of that. Yeah. And that's part of today's key. Also, we got a Moolah word of the day in addition to our money drama and our key, which is forget the perfection principle this week. So our Moolah... It's a phrase, Moolah word. Market structure.
Market structure.
You know what it is?
I can't honestly say.
Okay. No. Allow me to elaborate.
Go for it.
Shall I?
Go for it.
Market structure is the collection of factors that determine how buyers and sellers interact in a market, how prices change, and how different levels of production and selling processes interact. So the four basic types of market structures include oligopolies, monopolies, perfect competition, and monopsony, where only one buyer is present in the market.
Sounds like a Greek play.
Yes, and let's hope it's not a tragedy. So that is our Moolah word of the day. For other great Moolah words, you can visit our website or where we get them at investorwords.com. They're pretty fabulous. So that's it for our Moolah word of the day. So that's what a market structure is. And so depending on governmental factors and laws kind of sort of shape or give you a foundation for what market structures would be effective.
What was that first one before monopoly?
Oligopoly.
Now, I hear the word oligarchy used a lot. Is that a derivative of that? That word?
I don't.
Oligarchy? What is it? And I looked this up the other day because, everybody says this country's turning into an oligarchy, which I think means a select few wealthy people sort of run the country.
Well, and so if you're using that extrapolation, that works because in an oligopoly, there's only a few sellers. It's not quite a monopoly,
Okay.
So if you think about operating systems.
Yep.
Okay, and for the longest time, Windows had the monopoly with their Internet Explorer, but then along came Netscape Navigator.
Right.
I
remember that.
Yeah, because it caused a lot of lawsuits and stuff. But then we had Firefox.
Yeah.
Mozilla Firefox. So there are very few providers or sellers, in this case, in that marketplace. You don't have a whole lot of competition. There's a few, but it's not a monopoly anymore. Mm-hmm. Apple has
Safari.
So.
And what's Google Chrome? Isn't that a browser too?
It is.
So that's given Firefox a little competition, I guess.
I think that Firefox has really saturated the market, but who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know any of that. You're talking Chinese to me.
And being a Mac guy, I've stayed away from those browsers. Yeah.
You got tunnel vision.
Yeah. Well, we got.
But see, as a developer, I have to see how websites look in every browser. So I have every browser because what might display properly in Windows or Chrome might not display properly in Safari or Firefox. And so I have like 7 different browsers.
Does Safari open up on a PC?
Yeah, they have a Windows version.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
You don't have to be an iKid to use Safari.
Yeah.
So, and it helps, because sometimes fonts aren't recognized and things like that. So it's kind of an important deal. So I guess oligopoly is few because the oligos means few, so that's the Greek derivative.
Is that the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost?
The oligos. That's really funny. What a great play on words. It's the Holy Trinity.
Oh, I'm great at that.
Hence few. There we go. Hence few, 3. Few is 3, right?
Yeah.
Because some is 4 or more.
Yeah.
A couple is 2. Okay. So there you go. So the Pauline is to sell. So that's the Greek word. So oligopoly, or as oligos Pauline, is few sellers. So
cool.
Yeah. So good job. Good job on that. What a great conversation. To extend it to another word, oligopoly. Not just that's us here at Keys to Riches Radio. We're giving you extra value for your listening dollar.
Yeah.
Right?
We can hope.
More bang for the buck.
Yeah.
Well, I promised 1 investor word and they got 2. Didn't I?
That's true.
See, under promise, over deliver.
Yeah.
That's what sets us apart from the competition.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, you got a producer who doesn't know anything about money, too. And keeps asking stupid questions. But good questions.
You know what? It's really funny. Like, this is years ago, but I always quote this from South Park. So you remember, Mr. Mackey? Mm-hmm. Or not Mr. Mackey, but Mr. The teacher. What's the teacher's name? Mr. Mackey's the counselor.
I just remember the chef.
And chef. Well, of course, because...
Isaac Hayes.
There you go. So Mr. Garrison. So Mr. Garrison, when Cartman asked the question, and he said, this might be a stupid question. And Mr. Garrison says, there are no stupid questions, just stupid people.
Yeah.
So go ahead and ask all the questions.
I will.
They're not stupid.
And I'll continue to do that.
So anyway, would you like a key this week? Do you think maybe our listeners would like a key? Should we move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring it to them.
Because we're going to get into some really bad jokes right now. I have this weird, crazy feeling.
Yeah.
The way my week's been going.
The Holy Ghost was let's the end of the line.
I know, but it's Easter, Passover. I guess we're all right. Whatever, We're in with the times, I suppose. So for those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. We're so glad to have you. Thanks for stopping by. The Keys to Riches is a financial philosophy that teaches you how to think like the rich and be in control of your own money. It's super fabulous, because it also gives you specific techniques to create or fix your credit, eliminate debt, save and invest, all while transforming your current financial habits into healthy money management skills. And we do this 1 week at a time, one key at a time. And like Michael said, today's key is forget the perfection principle. And I strategically positioned this key. I had it in a different place when I originally wrote them. But I moved it back here, okay, because we have, for those of you who have been with us since the beginning of the season or have been with our sister show, Unlock Your Wealth Radio, where we used to do these in somewhat detail, not like we do here, we're learning, building, we're retraining our brains. We're patterning for new behavior. We're identifying our physiology. We're paying attention to the biological catapults that get us in trouble when it comes to managing our money or doing anything long-term for that matter, whether it's managing your money, your weight, your career, your kids, who knows. Long-term management is difficult based on how we're set up biologically. And so what we've done is we've learned, and we've been retraining and we've been making this process, and we discovered a lot about ourselves when we were at Key 7 and Break the Budget. And then we did no seasonal exceptions, because one of the pitfalls that we can have after we've done all this learning, it's not embedded into our initial decision officer from the Three Amigos just yet. Because, just think about it. You've spent a lifetime doing what you've done to get you where you are. Right. And so it's unrealistic for us to expect that you're going to be repatterned in a matter of just a few weeks of learning these techniques.
Of course.
Okay. So after we had this big discovery, we've been building on all of these skills. We have no seasonal exceptions that teaches us not to make excuses. And then we learn how to structure our finances for the future in the next few keys by learning about our credit and how to determine how close or far away from we are from really catapulting our ability to accumulate great wealth. And that's through real estate investment. And it's my favorite one, because you can buy gold or silver, but that's determined, your value is determined on market, but having it doesn't make you money, because in order to get the money back, you have to transfer the asset to somebody else. But with real estate, you don't have to transfer. You can transfer the asset to someone else and you get paid, but you only transfer possession, not ownership. So that's the beauty about real estate investment. But we're getting to our practicing the 3 R's. And this is going to be the part of our goal achievement strategy that sets us apart from every other goal planning, goal setting thing that you've ever done. And it's critical that we address this now, because the key lies in our ability to identify our successes, review our derailments, and move on. And if we subject ourselves to an inescapable amount of guilt for making mistakes, or hold ourselves to an unrealistic expectation like perfection, then we are not going to succeed, no matter what it is, whether it's money management or weight management, or, if you're in school, managing your grades, like whatever it is in life that you have to manage for a delayed gratification. It's not going to be successful if you don't make perfection, or if you make perfection the goal and don't focus on progress instead. And so the gist of this key is that we want to focus on the progress of the process we've put in place, because the keys are a process for achieving wealth, for eliminating debt. And when you institute these processes, they're the same, whether you're managing your weight or your money or your career or your family, yada, yada. Like apply it to any situation. The philosophy is the same. The process is the same. The three amigos do what they do, regardless of whatever it is. So if we look at what the core of this is about us understanding what's going on. So we have a simple process that helps us to get past this. And then I'm going to switch gears here in a second, and we're going to talk about the moneyism so that we can circle back about this in a systematic way that will make it all make sense for both the moneyism and how to solve the key. You are listening to The Keys to Riches, powered by Unlock Your Wealth Radio. This segment of today's show is sponsored in part by KeepMyID.org, the only service that actually prevents identity theft. All others are just monitoring services. Put your credit on lockdown with their special offer for Unlock Your Wealth Radio and Keys to Riches radio listeners. Visit keystoriches.com/keepmyid to enroll and protect your financial future right now. Remember to use promo code WAGS, WAGS. So let's talk about this moneyism before we finish out our key. So our moneyism is, we came up with some cool alliteration, and it's the masochism moneyism.
Masochism moneyism.
It's the masochism moneyism. Because that's the best way to describe what we do to ourselves. So either we do it immediately at the point in which we create the financial deviation from our plan. So that could be a binge spend. That could be an unplanned emergency that maybe we had our emergency fund set up for, but then we allowed seasonal exceptions to get in the way.
Oh, boy.
A little bit of justification for expenditures. We made non-emergencies emergencies. Hey, I've done it myself.
Yep.
But there's a difference between an emergency fund and a have fun fund. Mm-hmm. And you can have fun all you want on the have fun fund, but we do not have fun in our emergency fund.
On the emergency fund.
But what happens is we do this. So like we either get buyer's remorse, it's a natural thing. Like, oh, I shouldn't have done it. I knew I shouldn't have done it, but I went ahead and did it. Maybe I got an adrenaline rush out of it. My curmudgeon talked me into seeking pleasure in this moment. And the idea was like, the initial decision officer was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And so the minute those two started colluding, they locked Logic Larry in the closet. So you couldn't make a rational decision to save your life or your wallet at this point.
That's good. Poor Larry.
I know. It happens to him all the time. But, in my book, Cracking Your Money Code, I actually explore what happens if Logic Larry led. So we don't want him to. He actually needs to be where he is. So what the problem is that people expect or have been taught incorrectly that we're logical beings that use, that use emotion after the fact, but we are actually emotional, impulse-driven creatures that use reason and logic after the fact to justify our behaviors.
Yeah.
So like, well, we want, the expectation is that we're logical, but we're truly not. So he gets locked away a lot.
I mean, there are people that use logic first, but they're boring people, right?
Oh, but you know what? Even the most logical engineers, you can find a hot button for them.
Yeah, okay.
And you can poke that hot button and get them going.
Yeah. Okay.
You just need to figure out, and it's just real simple, and that's the thing that I loved about, learning, there are two foundations that really have kind of shaped my brain and behavior entrainment programs that I do. And one is neurolinguistic programming. Richard Bandler it created just a really unique process for understanding and pursuing excellence by being able to create and model excellence in your own life. And then the title is misleading. It's called the E&P of Sexuality. But it was by Dr. Kappas. And it's all about the unconscious mind. And he really describes people to a T. And so while you can be on the surface, judicious, impartial, you're not. You're just... you have different drivers, and even our most logical or appearingly logical decisions that we make are still colored by emotion regardless because of the way the information comes in. First, it comes in past the initial decision officer. So he is all instinctive, reactionary, and pre-programmed behavior that's been ingratiated in, like driving, where you can do it on autopilot like today.
Right.
I said, consciously I was going to the bank, but I ended up at the studio first. And I was like, no. And I had to turn around and go back to the bank and then come back to the studio. I was like, nuts. And I knew exactly where I wanted to go. Logic Larry said, go to the bank. But guess who said, oh, it's 10 o'clock on a Thursday. Guess where you're going?
Yeah.
Turn around. And so he gets the first. So as long as he doesn't have a reaction to it, feeling threatened or overstimulated toward pleasure, he'll let the stimulus go in. And then the second chamber is our curmudgeon. He's got memories and he's Mr. Emotional. Talk about your crybaby. Talk about your scaredy cat. That's him.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then if he doesn't get set off one way or another, it gets to Logic Larry. But you're seeing things from both of those things. Well, it's not a threat, but it could be unpleasant. Or it's not a threat, but it could be pleasurable. And so Logic Larry can only really make decisions not on the objective stimulus that first came in, but how the first two guys in front of him dealt with it. So it's colored a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and so just with engineers, you just got to figure out how to color for those guys. You know, I mean, because some people think, oh, it's all about the numbers. No, there's something else that drives the numbers. Security, stability, whatever it might be, you know, some sort of personal sense of achievement or, you know, avoiding loss. You just got to figure out what it is. Yeah. And you pull that out, you know, and that's what I teach in my 7 Selling Secrets workshop is how to identify that stuff and pull it out and sell to anybody regardless.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what we kind of have to be thinking about. And our moneyism, you know, this self-flagellation with a G, not to be confused with the odoriferous T. I only said that because you were bringing it up.
Yeah.
So self-flagellation has a value, we believe. So let's talk about why this moneyism exists. What do you think is one of the reasons why we continually punish ourselves, even though it doesn't serve a purpose? Why do we do it?
Well, I mean, it's a good question. I mean, I don't do it that much anymore. I did.
Okay,
years.
why? Why did you?
Boy, it's a good question. I mean, you beat yourself up.
Because what are you trying to do? What purpose does it serve?
You're trying to be perfect.
Well, there's that, okay? But when we beat ourselves up or when we refuse to forgive ourselves, it's usually with the intent of not screwing up again. I'll never forget that. I'll never forgive you for making that mistake.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I focus on it. I punish myself for it, so I'll never do it again.
I mean, I guess, you know, I'm thinking of quitting smoking. You know, you have that, you know, the guy that just has that one cigarette on a Friday night after he's had a couple drinks and he beats himself up and now
he's back to 2 packs a day.
And he tries again I mean, that's the only thing I can relate to.
Yeah, well, so when we beat ourselves up, we think it helps us. Like, that's the idea, so we don't make the mistake again.
Yeah, okay.
Never forget, you know. But it should be always remember, you know. We look at it from the wrong perspective. But what happens, okay, when we don't forgive and forget is we create a bad biological situation. So let's talk about, because this is biology-based financial literacy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what it does. It creates disease in the body. So the word disease, if you think about it, it's really dis-ease, meaning the body is not at ease. That's the dis part. All right. And so what happens when we're at dis-ease? Okay. So if we're releasing emotion, with regardless of the intent, whether it's to fix something, never forget, blah, blah, blah. We dump cortisol in our system. All right. Because we're dumping hormones. So it's either adrenaline to run away, beat somebody up, but all of these stress hormones come in when we can't mitigate that adrenaline, right? So we're mad at ourselves. And the problem with being mad at ourselves is if you're pissed off at your boss, you can walk away from him. But you can't walk away from you. You're stuck with you.
Right.
So you don't mitigate the stress hormone that's been dumped. And so when cortisol levels get high and when the body gets acidic, bacteria can take over. Cells mutate, cancer, erupts,
Wow.
all kinds of crazy things
Nasty.
happen from one simple biological mistake
Yeah.
that continually gets repeated. So the body never has a chance to recover. It never has a chance to repair if it can't ever mitigate that
Yeah.
physiologically. But it starts with a thought because, thoughts become things. So there's a couple of schools of thoughts here. So first, if I'm constantly thinking about it, especially if I'm constantly thinking about blowing my budget, instead of being on a healthy savings and spending plan, if I'm focusing on not blowing my budget, and you can listen to other shows about the word not, I'm focusing on blowing my budget.
Correct.
The thing I don't want. Okay. And the brain is so powerful that it takes instructions. Not is not an action word. It can't take action. So it's going to look for the next action word. And so it's going to see blow my budget. So even though we think we're telling ourselves, don't forget,
Don't blow your budget.
remember, don't blow the budget. Remember what happened last time you went to the store, you blew the budget. So what you think about, you bring about. So if you're focusing on what you don't want or what you're trying to avoid, you're just going to get more of it.
Yeah.
And so it just becomes this self-defeating cycle. But if we change our thoughts and we focus on managing our money well, celebrating not the next opportunity to not spend, but the next opportunity to save. It's all about shifting that perspective. The biochemical response to that thought can materially change your physiology. Look at the people that have overcome cancer by thinking. Just by thinking, they've been able to overcome cancer, overcome health maladies from the being right at death's door, seeing the white light, and just their mere thoughts kept them alive because they thought about the right things at the right time to change their physiology. So what we have to do is understand that while we think we're doing something good, we need to strip away the emotion and the negativity and gather the meaning and the message from the mistake, but ditch all the other garbage. And you can learn a lesson without having to continually punish yourself. That's the problem with some of these 12-step programs that I have is they keep you focused on what it is you did and what you didn't do and why you aren't capable of fixing it yourself. And I know I'll probably alienate people that have had success with the 12-step programs, but there's a reason behind that, but that's a whole nother show too. But what we really have to focus on is acknowledging what went wrong, why it went wrong, and what precipitated it, because all we have to do is figure out what catapulted us into that bad choice, and then we can pre-program a new choice over the bad choice. So when you go to the store and you see that dress that you love and now you see the discount and that drives you to make the bad decision, you need to think about other ways you can save in that moment. Or say, yes, I could have this item now, but I'm choosing to have it later when I can appropriately prepare and plan for it. So that's it for this week's key. Our key statement, key affirmation, and key action item is at our website at keys2riches.com. And thank you so much for joining us. Visit our sister show at unlockyourwealthradio.com if you would like in-depth interviews with money experts. For the Keys to Riches, powered by Unlock Your Wealth Radio and the Maestro of Moolah, Michael Terry, I'm Heather Wagenhals. Now go out and unlock your wealth today.
UnlockYourWealthRadio.com is produced by Heather Wagenhals and the Unlock Your Wealth Foundation. UnlockYourWealthRadio.com and its affiliates are copyrighted 2016 with all rights reserved. For more information on the Keys to Riches Financial Wellness Series, please visit our website at www.unlockyourwealth.com.